Or your personal statements. Speaking of which, there is
Hmm.
this thing called nurse to nurse, nurse to
Oh,
nurse,
nurse teach nurses.
nurse, nurse teach nurse.
We'll,
We'll
we'll,
find out.
we'll attach the link
Yes, we'll
down.
attach
I
the
can't
link
remember
down
exactly. Is
below.
it the one that has the mock?
Yes.
Yeah, either I think it's either nurse teach
Teachers,
nurses.
yes. Nurse
One
teach
of the two,
nurses.
yeah.
And like, girl, I mean, people, guys, girls. Let me tell you, that essay stressed me the heck out. Okay?
Sorry, I'm
I
laughing, but
literally
we when we applied, I think for me, I had a week left of the deadline. She
had one day.
one
Wait,
day
wait. One day
before
before the
the deadline,
deadline.
and we're
That
like,
was
I'm not
crazy.
ready to let this essay go.
I was
This
rechecking
essay,
and rechecking and
bro.
rechecking. So like I said, like you know how we mentioned like if you have a mentor initially, like that helps a lot. We write the essay, like your mentor reads your essay, she
Yeah,
corrects what you need to correct,
I
all that
can't even
stuff.
count how many people I
Like
gave
me
to read
too.
that
Like and
essay.
she would like it's always good. Do not give the same
Mm,
person your essay.
I probably gave
Like
five
let's say
people.
for instance, I wrote an essay. I gave Stella, right? Stella like reads it. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is great." She
Mm,
corrects it, everything. You correct that, give it to another person again. Let them read it.
it's like
Like
you're
you're
refining
just
over and
refining and
over
refining. And I
again.
tell you, like Instagram is so amazing. Like social media is
Mm,
great because I met like an CRNA as well, and she's a teacher. She was like a professor at some
like, what
university,
are the freaking
right?
chances?
And I will never forget. I remember I messaged her. I was like, "Hi, my name is Sylvia. I'm applying to CRNA school, blah, 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 blah." Everything. I was like, this is my essay. Please, would you mind like reading over
Reading
it? This was
it.
after like my, I did,
Oh,
the
diversity.
diversity
We also, I
CRNA.
also, they
I
have a
did that.
free
They
essay
had
check.
a free essay, like you can basically, somebody can help you read your essay. They even
Mm,
call you, talk to you,
mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So I'd already done that. So my last person was her. I was like, I've refined this so many times. Would you read it? And she read it and she corrected some things too. That essay, it was stressed
It
me
was a
out.
lot. That essay to me was not good enough
Me
until the very
too.
end.
Me
It
too.
will never be actually
I feel like for
because
you, like you, like as the applicant, you're gonna be like, oh my god, this
yeah,
is something is missing. That's how I felt till I submitted it, and I was like, I have to submit it.
because your essay is literally the
Put your
key to
feet inside or outside.
everything. Because if you think about it, the amount of applicants, first of all, that are applying, and the amount of people with years and years and years of experience,
Mm,
that their resume might be better, might be less, might be at the same level. So, what makes you? Why
different.
should they pick? When I was writing the essay, my mind was like, why would they?
Pick
Why
you
should I give them a reason to pick me? What reason should I give rather for them
for
to
them to
pick
pick
me?
me.
And a personal statement gives them that
Reason
picture. It paints literally, they can imagine a person based on your essay.
it will be
That's
that.
literally what it is.
So
So I'm
that's why
like,
you should make it like
sell
good. You need to
yourself,
sell yourself, girl. You
sell
sell
yourself.
that resiliency. I
Hmm.
mean, like you're selling
Everything that you
everything.
went through, every so for me, I think because when I applied, right, my I was debating putting because the question was something about like a clinical scenario where you had
Had
to,
to like
I think it maybe advocate for a patient or
yes, I think so.
something. I can't remember exactly, but it was the my response. I was iffy about that, like particular, because the different people that I gave my essay to, some of them were like, this is okay. Some of them were like, maybe look for another one. So it was back and forth, but I left it though, because the scenario was more of like I advocated for my patient. Went like communicated with this person that was higher than me that didn't agree with me and stuff like that. So it gives them a picture of you as a
Going
person
above and beyond
and you as a
as a
clinical
clinical.
provider, and then they put that together with your resume and it creates a picture for, okay, is this the kind of candidates you
Candidate you
want
want.
and
And
stuff.
that's
So
very important
yeah.
because me, when I was coming to CRNA school, initially I thought it was literally mostly about like your GPA, like you had to have had like a
Which is a concern
three
for a lot of
point
people.
whatever GPA, 4.0 GPA, but really it's not all
It's
about
not,
that. Like
yeah, I
there are people
promise
with like
you.
lower GPAs that
Yeah,
still get into CRNA school. Why? Because that's not all the
that's
picture.
not.
Because they look at your resume, yes, they also look at that personal statement. The
mm,
personal statement, your resume, your GPA, it kind of like puts your foot in the
Yeah.
door, right?
Mm.
But yes, Stella may have a 4.0, I may have a 4.0, but then
But then
if
why
it
would they
comes down
pick
to picking
her
me or
over me?
Stella, why would they pick
Yeah.
me over Stella or Stella over me?
Like
So it
why?
depends. What is your personal statement like, right?
Mm.
Don't let it be generic. Like, don't
Yeah,
bring a
don't let it.
generic
I It's
personal
safer to
statement.
be yourself and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to, obviously you wouldn't write something inappropriate, but it they want to see that genuine
So,
side of you that is not, like she said, generic.
yeah,
Like you have, I think I was very much myself
me
there because
too.
you're selling yourself. Like
You literally
you
are.
got to
I'm
bring
like,
out all the
bro, you know when
traits,
you
all
like,
the things you
I
went
felt more
through.
stressed doing this than when I was doing an interview for my job. Like, and I was making money off of that. Like, I was
Yeah,
stressed.
it's like it's quite
So you kind of
stressful.
have to sell yourself on that. And then after you get your, like, then you go into like the interview
Mm.
process, like, and then preparing for that. But like we said, do if you cannot find anybody to read your essay, do nurse teach nurses. Nurse, I think we'll check
We'll,
that.
we'll, we'll, we'll fact
Don't
check
quote
that.
me on that, but there's a site that it's actually for nurses, like CRNA, like SRNAs are on there.
Hmm.
Like you basically just pay. You do have to pay for your services. So like they're gonna
And
read your essay.
diversity,
Diversity CRNA
it's
is
like I
it's
think it's
also
either once a
a
month.
month,
There's a
yeah.
particular time frame
It's
that
a
they do the free check
free check.
for
So
essay.
you can
So
do that
yeah,
too, or you can give if you have a mentor, you can give your
I
mentor.
gave
But
my
like we said,
friends,
give your
I
friends,
gave
give so
people,
many people. Like
because I mean, I was like, my friends
you
are
might as well,
graduates, my friends are
yeah.
PhD holders, masters. I'm like, they
Mm-hmm.
do dissertations all the time or
So you
research paper. I'm like,
definitely
I
not
gave
rely
people,
on yourself in
yeah.
for your paper, and
Because what you
then
see, other people, what other people
to
might see, you
see
might not see.
exactly
So
because to you, you're probably reading it because you wrote it, so obviously it
you're like,
sounds fine.
but
But
is
then
it
when
really
somebody reads it, and I am somebody that not mumbles, but like I what's that word?
ramble?
Ramble. I say mumble. Ramble a lot. Like I go on and on and on and on. And it reflects like it was showing in my paper. Like I was trying to make a point, but I was taking so long.
And I was the
And it
opposite.
shows.
I was very like bam, bam, bam. And she's like, no, like tell me more. Every time I
Like,
was like,
tell me
what
more.
more do
What do
you
you
want
want me
from
to
me?
tell? So it was like
She's like,
opposite me. I was
more
telling too
where?
much. She said, yeah, like everybody's
I was
already. They're
like, oh
like,
my
Sylvia,
gosh.
you need to go straight to the point. She's like, you
She's
went
like,
straight to the
tell me
point. You need to tell
more.
me
She's like, this
why
is so
you're right
vague. I'm like,
there.
oh my god, I
Oh
have to
my god. So
draft this word.
but then like it was an experience, but it was a good experience.
It was. It really was. The application process, I think, is not even. It was hard, but it
It
wasn't.
wasn't
It
terrible.
wasn't terrible. Yeah, because I feel like
Yes.
that's what stresses a lot of people out
Mm-hmm.
more. But I don't think it is. I think if you have, like we said,
The
that
plan
plan, it will
makes
help
everything
relieve that
easier.
stress because then you already know. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
is what
This
I
is
have
what
to
you need
do.
to do.
Versus you trying to figure it out, like,
That
is a
makes it
lot.
more stressful than it is,
Yeah.
than it should be, because it is not stressful, but it
Mm,
shouldn't be very
very
stressful.
stressful. Yeah.
And then like also the last thing I would say is like your references. Like for us, like I feel like that's also a big thing. Getting
Mm,
like your reference from like your manager
that
that
was
you work
a
with.
big thing too.
Me, I had a good relationship with my manager. I didn't tell nobody on my unit I was going to CRNA school until like the end.
They didn't
like
even know.
until when I needed a reference, really was when I told people that I was going to CRNA school.
And some people like, why don't you just wait a little longer? Like this, don't you think about like the money and everything? I'm like the more you wait, CRNA school is not gonna get any more cheaper.
Mm-hmm. It's
By the
gonna get
way,
more
it's getting
expensive.
more expensive. So it's like, why wait? Why not just do it now? And I, in my mind, obviously, I also had personal goals that
You
I
need to
need to
accomplish.
accomplish. So I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time when I could have just gone already
I
and
agree.
still learn.
That's how I was
So
too. Like for me, honestly, I really didn't. I mean, technically, I did have 4 years, so to me, I felt like that was fine. Like that was okay, even if it wasn't. It's none of your business.
I'm telling you,
Business.
that was from
Okay.
Sinners. We're like, guys, this is off topic. We went to Sinners movies yesterday. or with the day for yesterday, and I was like, "There's no subtitles. I have no idea what they're saying."
We need subtitles, guys. We
We're
need
Nigerians, by the way,
subtitles.
so it's like, what are they saying? But anyways, yeah, that's
It
where she
was
got that
very so
from.
yeah, none your business. I found it very interesting. I still love saying that. But anyways, yeah, but I didn't tell anybody. But eventually, I told my manager because I did need a resume from him. I said resume reference from him.
Mm,
So I literally got my reference, and they were like, "Oh, congratulations!" Blah 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 blah
yeah,
blah blah
and
blah.
I think that should be the last.
Yeah, very last
Like
step.
after what we did or what I did was I applied to all the school, and then when I knew the
New
schools
schools
that
that
I
you
had
needed.
applied to,
You
then
tell
I
them
collect everything, and I'm
together.
like, here you go. I need references for all the schools. Cause trust me, you wouldn't even
You
like
said
doing
you'll be
that. Cause
tired.
you'd be
You'll be
like,
like, oh my god, I don't want to
I need this
disturb them. I
school.
just
I
asked
need
them
this
for this
school.
one. Now I have to
Yeah.
ask them for this one. That is actually a very, very important point. Very important.
Mm,
So now, right, you guys, you've applied. You followed all our steps,
mm,
which is above here if you see this. But you followed all our steps, right?
mhm.
Now, congratulations. You've landed an interview.
What do we do now?
What next?
Dun dun
Dun
dun.
dun dun. But now you have an interview. Interview for us was another one
It was
that
another
was a
hurdle.
headache for us to like it stressed us out. But again, like we said, I'm so thankful that we're doing this together because then we were feeding off of each other in the sense
Mm,
that like we were practicing off of each other. Like we would do like mock interviews. If I could not
very.
stress this enough,
Oh my gosh.
guys, make sure you do
Um,
mock interviews.
Like when we say mock interviews, we
Mock
mean
interviews.
plural
Yeah, interviews
mocks. Yeah,
with an S. Very
literally. Because
important.
I'm telling you, it helps. I
I
feel
feel
like
like
then
it
it
builds
even
your
made the
confidence.
interview
Like,
not
oh, I'm
as
doing another
bad.
mock
Yeah,
interview.
literally.
Literally,
Like it
like
wasn't as daunting as
no.
preparing for the interview. The
I feel like
preparation part was like
the mock interview was much
it was
more
harder.
harder than the interview itself.
Yeah.
That's not to say that the interview wasn't
Was It wasn't,
hard,
hard,
but
but then the preparation
it helped
itself
prepare it again
made the interview
better.
better. Yeah, that would be a good word for
Like
that.
again, like we said, your mentor is a good resource if you have one, obviously, like to do a mock interview with. Because I think we did a mock interview twice with our mentor,
Yeah,
and
twice,
then
or she was checking on us
yes, and
every
then we
other
did.
week.
At least I did teachers, nurse teach. We'll check on it again, but that
Nurse teach
nurse
nurses,
teach
I
nurses.
think.
I did a mock interview with an SRNA. I did have to pay, obviously, but
Mm,
it was worth it. I mean, she did ask me and they tell you, do you want more knowledge based question or do you want like emotional intelligence question?
do both.
For me, I did both. So I did like knowledge based and I did international. I say international emotional intelligence question, and then we Nigeria, like we're
Yeah, we're
Nigerian,
Nigerian, so we
so we
had
had
this
a Nigerian like a
group we
group.
found.
So we found them. We did like a membership, so we're like
Yeah,
members
they're
of the Nana.
very
If you're
awesome.
Nigerian, please
Please,
join.
I feel like we'll also add the link there too,
Yes,
because
do
I
it.
they were such good like
Resource.
their mock interview scared me more than the actual interview.
Yes.
Why I'm saying this is because they literally simulated how an actual panel,
Interview. Yes, it
because
was
we
like
did
a
ours
panel.
virtual, because I know nowadays people actually go in person sometimes, right, for the interviews.
Yeah.
So it felt like I was in person with a
Person.
panel. I'm telling you, they were
It
throwing
was
like
like
questions,
four people,
yeah,
four
of
like CRNAs
CRNAs, and you were like,
asking you all these
I
questions.
was like, dang,
We
is this
were
how the
so
questions are gonna be?
scared. And then
And
I
then at
remember,
the end, they were like,
yes,
oh
we
my
did
god, you
so
guys are
good.
so
You're
like,
so ready.
we did. It was
But
like, oh
it
wow,
was
it was.
very
I loved
preparing.
it.
I
Yeah,
loved it
I
too.
loved that
So yeah,
session.
guys, do that. Definitely put that on your list.
100%.
And then the last piece of advice that I would give you guys is girls and guys is that whatever you put on your resume,
Be ready to
make
back
sure
it
you're
up.
able to back it up. Like at
Don't
first when I
lie.
put on my resume,
Yeah.
girl, I was putting devices that I've only touched I've only used
I
very
remember.
minimally. I put it
It's like
here because I want to
a
sound
sprinkle of
so.
echo here
Yes,
and
I
there.
literally
Sprinkle
I
of
sprinkle
EVD.
EVD here, sprinkle
Literally.
ECMO
And
here,
then you
sprinkle all
design it
these
with
things that I've
be
only
ready to
done.
back
Not
it up.
I've done them, but I don't do them often to say yes. I know how an ECMO
Mm,
works, like 100%, or like
mm,
all that stuff. So if you put something on your resume, make sure you
trust.
back it up, bro. I put what they call it. What the heck did I put? I do CRTs quite a lot, but girl, I had to go and watch
The
ICU
video.
Advantages. If you guys don't know ICU Advantage,
You
start watching
start watching
ICU
that too,
Advantage.
yeah.
I had to watch ICU Advantage on how, like, the
The
paddle, the like how all
that
this
was me.
works, and
How the freaking machine was
girl,
designed.
yes,
I was quite stressed for CRT because I do it, but then I don't
it's
think
like
I actually, because now as SRNAs,
SRNA.
we
You
think
think
deeper.
back,
But then I
yes,
was like, bro, I just know how
yeah.
to
I just
do the
know how to do the
thing. I don't know
CRT.
how it works and in terms of like
It's
how a kidney
so
works and stuff.
interesting. But
But
yeah, that's one thing. If you put whatever you put on your resume, make sure you're able to back it up. Like,
hundred
and like,
percent, like no. Okay, before we even go to the like ICU or knowledge based questions, know your why.
mm,
Like,
very
I
important.
think that was the hardest question for
Yes.
us
Oh my
actually.
God. Yes. Like, and it's on your essay. Oh, I knew
What
want to
is
become a
this?
CRNA.
Because it's like, what do you mean? Why? I just want to be a
Guys,
CRNA.
this is so
It's
hilarious.
harder than you think. I'm
Me and
telling
I will
you.
never forget this day. Me and Stella were in the kitchen because we
Yeah,
were
it
doing
was
a
in
travel job
it was
in
in Indiana,
Indiana.
I think.
We're
Yeah.
in the kitchen practicing. So, why do you want to be a CRNA? Why?
Why? Like
Why?
why?
And we kept looking at ourselves
It's
like,
like why?
why?
That is a very hard. It's harder. It was so much harder than I thought.
Guys,
I was like, why?
why? That question, I'm not joking,
It's
was the
harder than
hardest
you
question that
thought.
we had to answer. We
Same.
had to, like,
But that was the
why?
basis of the
Why?
interview,
Yeah, like,
really.
why do you want to be a CRNA?
Yeah, like out of all the professions
You
in
chose
nursing,
CRNA.
why
Why?
CRNA?
Not us
I mean,
saying
not the
why,
generic,
why. Oh,
oh,
I want to do this
autonomy,
because
like,
of
what is
why.
the reason?
Because that's what I said initially. Like, that's what I always used to say. Like, yes, I want to do this because of
Mm,
autonomy and all that stuff. But that's so generic.
it
Everybody's
is.
probably
Everybody
gonna
wants
say,
that.
yes,
But
I'm doing
other
this
than that,
because of
what is the
autonomy.
reason,
So yeah,
really?
you got to figure out your why. Like, again,
That's a big
like,
factor.
don't just do it for. I always say, don't just do it for the money too. Yes, the money is
Mm,
good, but if you're gonna do something just because of the money and you end up not liking it, so
that
what's
would
the whole
suck.
point?
That's why I think shadow, even if
That's
your school doesn't require shadow, still
just
shadow.
shadow. So
Because it
you know
gives you an
why. Like,
idea.
you kind of know, oh, I don't think I want to be sitting at, like, in,
Yeah.
at least that's what people think we
Another thing,
do.
literally, when I was applying for
It's
CRNA
just
school, there was
sitting
a
there.
particular person in my unit at the time, and she was like, CRNA, they just seem so boring. They just
Yes,
sit
so just
down,
sit
and I'm
there.
like, that's what people think, though.
But there's a lot
But then
going
if
on. Oh.
obviously I didn't know, I haven't seen, I had seen a CRNA in action, but it was like an outpatient GI and whatever. But if you told that to somebody who knew nothing about the job, it would be
Yeah.
so easy for them to be like, oh, I
Oh,
don't
I
want to
don't.
do
Yeah, I
that.
don't want to do it. I'm
But then
just
if you
sitting at the back of the
shadow, you
chair.
would literally have a bigger picture as to
Yeah,
why
what they do,
what they
like,
do,
you
because
know, things
it's
like that.
yeah.
And then you kind of see why. Like, I will never forget. Like, I was, and that's something I put in my essay too. Because the person I shadowed, honestly, I feel like it was just God sent because I actually saw, like, he was explaining to me why he loved it, like,
Mm,
why he decided to do what he did. Like, some people is like they're just doing it for the money and all that, but
right, because then
his
that comes the
own
time it
knowledge, like, him, he
fail.
was honestly, like, I feel like I love that he was so knowledgeable.
Me
Like,
too.
it's so interesting how, like, things as a nurse you don't even think of, right? Because
Mm.
you're not the doctor, like, you're not the
Because
one
it's like, oh,
prescribing the
the
drugs, you're
patient
not doing,
is da da
but
da
like,
doctor.
it's so interesting. Like, the patient is going down and, like, crashing,
Like it's
but
more
then it's more,
mental.
you're more in, you have to know, like, the pathos, the physiology of the body, all that stuff. So it was so
Mm.
interesting for me to actually see it in action, like when he was talking about, because I remember we're doing a robotic bats. Yes, that's what they were doing when I
Mm.
was doing my shadowing. and he was explaining to me how like we collapsed the lungs and all that. To me, it sounded like
I was
friggin'
like, huh?
gibberish, but
What are you
I
talking
was like,
about?
"You sound so smart, like you sound
They
so
That was what
intelligent,"
attracted me
and
too.
I was like, "I want to
Like
be
he
like
just
you."
knew what to do. Like the person I shot, like I didn't shadow. The first person I saw, it wasn't a shadow. It was in school and we're outpatient GI. I was supposed to shadow the nurse, but I left the nurse. I
To
went to the
shadow CRNA.
CRNA and I was just there, and she actually noticed me because I was more interested in what she was doing than whatever was going on in the room. And then she was like, "Oh," and I still have her number to today. And she was just telling me, "Oh, and the way she sounded so smart." I was like, "Wow, I
I
really
want to be
that's
you.
how I want to
I know.
sound. Like I want to know my
You want
stuff
to
if
be
I'm gonna be,
confident in what you
yeah."
know. And again, not to say that as nurses we didn't, but we're confident in
What
like
like we
what
didn't, it wasn't as
nurses
in
in depth,
depth
yeah,
as
like
it is now,
now it's like more in depth, like we know like the patho, the
down to the
physiology to the
cellular
cellular
level
level.
of
So
things.
it's
Yeah,
very interesting to see how far we've come, to be honest. Like
100%.
when I think of how we started, like we were like you probably watching somebody else's. We watched a lot of YouTube videos. No,
We
back then there
still
were not a
do.
lot of
There
YouTube
wasn't a
videos
lot
actually.
actually. Now I think they're
Yeah, they're now
more. Yeah, there
more.
was a lot
Not
more.
us
Yeah,
saying back then, like this wasn't like
but I'm
2006.
telling you, like it's now become
But
a thing in
there
terms
wasn't
of,
like a lot of like
yeah.
resources. I remember there was this one YouTube. I still watch her to today. Like she was my motivator. Like I was like, I want to be like you. I literally wanted to. I was like, I'm going to and I
Mm,
commented on her video recently, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I used to watch you
I
back then. Like
know.
back then. So it's very interesting to see come like full circle to see like us doing what we want to do and like
Answered prayers,
literally we are
literally
living in
answered
like an answered
prayers.
prayer, like, and we can only have God to thank for
Mm,
this. We still had to just put everything to God because granted, yeah,
honestly,
we had prepared for our
yeah,
interview,
but
we had prepared for our personal statements, we have
mm,
done everything that man
that we
can do,
can
but then we
to our very
just
best. So at
left
that
it to
point, we
God,
just like left it to God,
literally.
honestly, because like we in the interview process too. After that is like, oh my god, because then you start like
Thinking like,
thinking, oh my, I could
oh,
have said this, I could have said that, but
but
and you
you've
really did
already
your
done
best.
what you
Plus,
can do.
again, I think it was more of a holistic. And if it's the school's not
If it's
for
not for
you,
you, it's
then
not
it's
for
not
you.
for you. I think we were in this conference with Fana, right, where
Yeah.
we met another SRNA, and the conversation kind of went like, the schools we apply to, rejections and all of that, and how he's like, wow, God really planned this out for me,
For
because now I
you.
think the school he's going to at the time, or now, is like free,
Yeah.
because
So you
it
never
was so
know.
strategic. Like he was like, if I had gotten into the school I so wanted to, I would never have, I'll be paying
Paying
loans and
loans,
everything
yeah.
and stuff, but now it's like it's free. So it's like, if it's not meant to happen, then it's not
It's
meant to
not
happen. But
meant to
that
happen.
shouldn't like, stop
Limit you.
you. And then for the you're gonna say about the knowledge based part of the question.
Know your patience, to be honest. Honestly, guys, watch ICU Advantage. ICU
I
Advantage
see advantage.
was was a lifesaver, okay? And then if you're looking for pathophysiology, which is so important, you can do Ninja Nerd
Ninja
or you
Nerd
can do
or
Osmosis. They
Osmosis
have
and Sarah Aaron
and
too.
Sarah RN. I
Those are
remember
good.
Sarah RN, I used to use her in nursing school. But know your patients. Like for your knowledge base, just know the kind of patients you have. If
Yeah.
you work in a medical ICU, you're gonna have septic patients, obviously. So know like your sepsis. Know why you're giving LR instead of
Normal
normal
saline.
saline. Like know why you're giving this because of this. Like
And I think
if
you
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 work in
actually
cardiac, know your
can
drugs.
control.
Know your drugs.
Yeah, know your drugs, guys, down to the cellular level. Yeah, so put your best self forward, be yourself, because I feel like they can tell
Sense it.
when you're lying or when you're trying to
To
act smart or prove smart.
and they don't like
They
that.
don't like that.
Bro, don't do. Look, I'm Nigerian. Don't do oversabi.
And
Don't do I too know.
yeah, don't do
Like,
I too know. Like,
just don't
don't
be
do
like
wala wala. Like,
I'm too
don't do
smart.
gra gra.
No,
Like, be yourself. They actually like that, because then you can tell the shift in the conversation sometimes in the interview. Like how I'm thinking your interview, you're saying something about how like they're talking about the weather in
yeah, and like
Miami
the
or stuff
weather,
like
like
that.
we were just talking like a conversation. Like I'm like, bro, like I'm staying somewhere like Indiana. We were in
yeah,
Indiana that
it's
time. It was
snowy. I'm like,
ice
the
cold.
weather is amazing
I'm
in
like,
Florida.
the weather in Florida is so beautiful. Like it's like a conversation starter. And I feel like sometimes those are the hardest things to do to a conversation starter. So
Yeah,
just make it your own. Be good.
like on the
Start.
interview,
Yes. Last thing is pray. Pray, pray,
like
pray, guys.
just
Like just commit
you've
everything. You've
done
done your
your
best.
best. You put your best foot forward, and you're like, you know
Rest
what?
for
I'm just
God.
gonna leave it to God. And
Literally.
you know, a rejection is not. I'm looking for
Like that's
motivation.
not the end.
Yeah, the rejection is not a halt to your goals.
Mm-mm.
A rejection could even make you even stronger for your next
Yeah.
application.
That's
So I wouldn't, if for every rejection you get is
make
experience and it's a learning process, and then you just take it to the next
take
one.
it like see why at least like okay, so what could I do better the next time? We're fortunate enough to like get into
The first
the
school you
first one.
wanted.
I remember when we got because me, I got my message first before Stella.
During
Oh,
my face
Stella was already
fell.
like, oh my God, like
I
I
was
didn't get.
like,
I was like,
oh
Stella,
my
relax. You
gosh.
got in. You got
I was
in.
so
She
stressed,
was
guys.
so stressed. I could see her face. I
My
feel
face
like
just fell.
she had already been like, oh my
I was
God,
like,
I
you're
didn't get
kidding
in. I
me.
didn't
Because
get
I
in.
think, I don't know who had your interview, or you had your interview
Yes, that's what I
first.
told you. I was like,
You said that.
I was
I
like,
didn't even, at that
yeah,
point, nothing
you were
was
just,
going
I
in.
knew. Because
I
me, I was like,
like,
Stella, I had my interview before yours.
I was
So
like, you're kidding.
obviously,
And
maybe that's why I got it before you. But you were not
probably,
even listening. I was
my
like,
voice was like,
oh,
my
you were
mind was
already in
like,
despair. Like,
literally.
oh my God, I didn't
I
get it.
kept refreshing my email, and then it came in.
I was like,
And I saw congratulations. I was like, oh my god. It was
and that's how we
a,
found ourselves here,
yeah. I
guys.
think this has been actually a reflection for us to like, because then there are hard days. Obviously, I know people say CRNA school is hard and everything, but yeah, everything things that are good will not come easy.
Nope.
So it's like if it's easy, then
Everybody will do
everybody will do
it.
it, right? Yeah. So it's like okay, this today is hard, tomorrow will be better. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, I'm here.
Yep,
And
there's
I'm
a reason
living
why you're here.
answered prayers. We are living testimonies of answered prayers.
Yeah.
Like I can't even.
Like for like this would be a story for another day, but coming from like as international students, like all the
The
struggles
stress.
of an
It
international
was more
student.
of like, oh my God, you're actually doing this. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, no, you can't complain. We can't complain. And like we've
We
come
can't
too long
actually.
to
We've come
do
too
this.
far. As
Literally.
they'll say, you've reached that stage where you're in too deep to come out.
Yeah.
So you just have
Who
to
was I
keep
don't know
going.
where
It
we
was
where we heard that
it was
from.
Fana.
Fana, yeah,
Yeah. So
I
they're
remember
like
the guy at the
you're
booth.
in too deep. You're already in that
You're
stage.
like,
Like
you're
you're
already in there.
like you're already there where you cannot say I'm
I'm
leaving.
leaving. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
only just keep going forward.
There's no that way. This is plan A to Z.
Literally. So, but
Plan
like
A to
we're
Z.
so thankful that
Yeah. So this is a reflection to
like
be
we're
like, wow.
where we prayed for,
And you're good
we're
enough.
yes.
Every like new thing that is everything that we're getting into that is new is a learning process. You're never gonna be just good at it immediately. So it's okay
Yeah.
for you.
And
Like,
trust me, guys. Again, this would be like another video continuation. But once you start CRNA school or school in general, it's gonna feel
yeah, I think we should do another
video.
yeah,
But we'll do another
where
video adjusting
to
CRNA.
first year of CRNA
Yes,
school.
that'll be another video.
Yeah,
to do.
that should be first year, man. Stay tuned.
That's all we have to say. Stay
Yeah,
tuned,
stay
stay tuned, and we'll
tuned,
like do
and-
videos like
Yeah.
on how like to adjust, how to still keep your life even
How,
with
that like
CRNA.
people always ask us that question.
Like,
They're
how
like,
do
oh
you
my
still
god,
keep
Sylvia,
like doing what
Stella.
you do?
They're like, hey, look at them.
they don't even
Travelers.
look like they go to school.
Are you saying school? I'm like, yeah. That doesn't mean I should not live my life.
Yeah.
Because trust me, you need to be grounded. Because it's very easy for you to, because life continues outside school, and it's so easy to forget that. Because then when things happening, you're like, you are shaky because you're so focused, zoned in on school that when stuff happens outside, it throws you off balance. But you need to like find ways to ground yourself.
That is very
Because that's
true.
the only way that you
I
can.
feel
You
like
need
that's
anchor.
the only way we could do it. Like
'Cause,
honestly,
yeah.
again, this would be a video for another day. But like, we would just you guys Like
The
how we
gist
went
is
through,
on.
how we overcame
Yeah.
first year, first semester,
Oh,
especially.
it was
But like it was brutal, but
crazy.
we had to find a way. But again, that'll be another for story for
For
another day.
another day, yeah. And you guys should check out my blog too.
Yes.
If you want to like have a sneak preview of how first year CRNA school could be like. It was
The
just
link would
the
be
link will be
down
down
below.
below, yeah.
Okay,
That
guys?
just gives you a gist of it. But yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned
And we will catch y'all later.
later. Don't forget to like, don't forget
And
to
subscribe.
subscribe, don't forget to leave a comment. Other than that, guys, toodles, and see you
Bye.
guys later in the next video. Bye.